Suprabhatam, welcome seekers for the Q&A session with Sindhoora ji. We did two podcasts so far. One was to understand the relevance of chanting in daily life. It was the first podcast, followed by the second one in which we understood the life journey of Sindhoora ji, and she helped us understand the benefits of chanting and how does the larger journey of chanting look like, right from understanding the fundamentals, learning the basics of pronunciations, learning the prarthanas, followed by swadhyaya and the sadhana, and how can we inculcate chanting in our daily life throughout the year with respect to how the festivals of Bharata unfold, and finally, chanting the Vedas. So, some of you had some questions to clarify with her before we start the Chanting Fundamental Intensive program from tomorrow. So, this brief Q&A session is to help you get clarifications, if any, so that if you are kind of sitting on the fence whether to start this Chanting Fundamentals Intensive from tomorrow or not, you can seek clarifications and decide accordingly, because the day one for Chanting Fundamentals Intensive is tomorrow at 6 a.m. IST. So with that, before we start, Sindhuraji, if you may please start the session with a prayer.
Sure. Namaste. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. I'm happy to answer all your questions today. Actually, we are close to closing the registrations, but still, since some of you have expressed some need for clarification, I'm here to clarify all your questions. Please go ahead.
So Raj Kishorji, Sajjanji, if you have any questions, you may raise your hand, digital hand. I'll unmute you, and it'll help if you can please come on video and ask your question.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I have a very silly question. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No problem.
Recently, we started this, small chanting in the morning. 5 minutes I do generally, just for Ram Shlok. So I noticed that whenever I do silently, like inside chanting, rather than speaking from mouth, this mind goes anywhere. I mean, it difficult to control, and when I speak, then I felt easy to concentrate. So what is the reason? I mean, how can I control even without speaking, just chanting from inside?
Okay. Is there a second part to the question or just the one? I'll answer everything at once. That's why. Okay. So that is the whole point of chanting loudly and studying with somebody in the lineage. This is something, it is not just you who experiences that, it is all of us, because the mind is so engrossed in the, we call it the Vishaya Vishayi Bhoga. Vishayas are our sense organs, right? Which is always in interaction with the sense objects. That means it has taken in that much information. And who is the person who analyzes that information? It is our mind. So, chanting loudly helps in bringing that focus to one thing. That is, for visual, it will be the text that we use for chanting. For auditory, to keep it in place, we are chanting loudly. So, our voice itself is helping by providing that aid to keep it in one place. And that is the reason it is impossible for a lot of us, all of us, I think, to meditate on the first day, right? That is why chanting is a wonderful tool to train your mind to First of all, like you said, there is so much chatter. We call it as the chatter in the mind. To calm down that chatter, it takes a lot of time. Chanting, by the way, it can be a very intellectual process in the beginning because it is forcing your mind to direct it in one direction alone. That is chanting the text, whatever text that is. And not just that, there are multiple layers of challenges in chanting. That is the rules that we apply in chanting. In the first couple of webinars, we have already spoken, right? How nuanced it is, how beautiful it is. That means it is that much more demanding of our attention, of our concentration. Therefore, it helps develop that focus. And over an extended period of time, depending on the number of chatter or the intensity of chatter in your mind, if you continuously practice by chanting loudly, that is actually imperative that we chant loudly in the beginning, and only when it is heading towards the sadhana, that is quietening the mind, and then ability to stay with the chant alone, only then it is quiet chanting, and that is mostly japa. Even Veda Parayana, when they do Veda chanting, in the group, it is mentioned that it must be chanted loudly. So that, of course, the vibration is also felt and it is intensified by chanting together. But when they do Veda practice on a daily basis, when they do practice, it is at a medium pitch, never quietly, because it is sounds, right? So only when it comes to sadhana, that is so much deeper when it goes to anahata nada. That is the only unstruck sound, correct? Otherwise, everything is a struck sound. That is, it is produced by the vocal cords, by they are
Yes.
moving. So it has to be loud because sound is that vibration that must be felt, that must be experienced in the beginning stages, and it kind of gets automated for a long time. When you practice, it sinks in, and the mind so beautifully switches. These are the things you must personally experience, when you start doing this practice on this course. Although it is just 2 days, I would definitely encourage everybody to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and do a few, whatever is taught. Even if it is just one prayer or two prayers, you have to do it. And you will see how your mind is naturally preparing. Just the way we build muscle memory by doing something, the mind also knows. In my house, there is a room that is devoted for my practice and classes. The minute I enter there, my mind is just in a different place. No matter what, I might have had an argument, I might have had very tiring day, whatever it is, the minute you get in here, mind switches. That's the beauty of the mind, and that's the beauty of chanting. It helps very consciously, it helps to bring the mind to one place. Meditation, it is very tough. Even pranayama, you can be very mechanically doing some nadi shodhana and something, but the mind can be wandering off anywhere. That is why I absolutely love chanting as a tool. It's an instrument that is absolutely helping the mind to bring that focus, and then you direct the mind wherever you want to go, as in different types of meditation or breath. So to to answer your question, it is absolutely normal to have that feeling, that chatter. We call it that chatter, right? Mind's chatter. It's not possible to eliminate it in a couple of classes. It probably takes that much more practice. And of course, our devotion and our commitment to a subject also helps, right? If it is that much intensified, then the intensity of chanting, trying to eliminate your chatter, also increases.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajkishore ji. Any other question from you, Rajkishore?
No.
Okay, thank you. Sajjan ji, Aarti ji, if you have any questions, please do ask. Sajjan ji, you called me a couple of times. We couldn't speak in the last week or so. We'll connect. Go ahead and ask any question to Sindhoora ji. You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is, I can't express how beautiful it is. Chanting and japa I included after your call, and through the group, we started practicing japa.
Wonderful.
So meditating, we were doing our sadhana, so Kriya Yoga meditation. Still practicing the presence of God every moment, so japa and chanting. I can't explain really. and I wanted to connect with you with my son, but by the grace of God and after meeting with you, sincerely, uh, very positive changed we received, and that I will email you and Manjuji. So this March, my son has exams going on, and also we are shifting to the another place. So unfortunately, I'm not able to. I mean, uh, able to connect you this chanting classes. But yes, I wish after uh, June, if you have any next session, so we will join. We will join.
Okay. Wonderful. Namaste. And yes, it's very nice to hear such positive experiences that you are having. And I also would like to add what you have experienced so far in the webinars is not even the first atom of the tip of the iceberg. I always say that, I'm myself at the tip of the iceberg, and I feel that there is so much more to study and learn, and the beauty of chanting and how it is going to transform our lives. It is something you cannot put a price on, so if you want to do the self study of this, because all the recordings will be available, you can, because without this fundamentals course, I will not be allowing anybody to come to the next one. What happens is we would have covered such a massive array of rules that is applied in chanting, because we take chanting very seriously, right? That's the reason we're here. And you are bringing a lot of elements of bhakti, which is imperative to chanting. But initially, chanting is a very intellectual process, because I want to prepare you all for that. It's not like you will come and you will feel great every day. There may be days you are frustrated. It's like, I can't get that pronunciation correctly. What is it? Where do I place my tongue? I'll become your, teeth model, and I'll be showing you, do that, do it, pronounce it like this. That is how it's going to be, because it has to be perfect. And all these rules are not coming from me, right? It is coming from our parampara, not even simply my teachers, that they are that particular and pedantic about rules, which they are. It is because it is written in the Pratishakha of the Veda itself that this importance must be given to pronunciation. As simple as that, right? So we will be going through a whole lot of that. Initially, it might feel like, why are you teaching me basic alphabet? But trust me, you will see it in a different light towards the end of it. And through these daily prayers and stotras, we will be learning all of that. So it makes sense to attend live, of course, but if you'd like to, since you express such great passion towards it, and also the devotion towards the subject, you can consider it. But of course, live classes will be great. I do not know when the next live class will be. Perhaps I will make it available as a self-paced one in the future. But we will be proceeding to the next level. Okay. But yes, we will keep you informed.
Okay, then I will join. I will join. Thank you.
No, if it works for you, it should. It's not like I'm prodding you
Yeah,
to
it's okay.
register,
I mean, I
but I'm
don't have
telling
any
you
if and
the.
buts. I don't have any if and buts. I mean, anyway, I have to join. I have
Okay.
to learn because uh, इतना टाइम से मैं नहीं कर पा रही क्योंकि वो करेक्ट प्रोनाउंसिएशन नहीं आता तो आई एम नॉट एबल टू इनिशिएट सो that I found the correct person that we can learn.
Fantastic. I'll
Thank
see you
you.
in class.
And just to add, Sajjanji, so I used to think that my pronunciation is in a decent zone. Okay, and after attending one of the webinars of Sindhoora ji, I realized that so many improvements are needed. So our self-assessment, we always rate ourselves a little higher. Okay, I'm better in this, but there's so much room for improvement and perfection in the pronunciation. So that's why I believe Sindhoora ji has taken only the daily prayers to start with. Otherwise, we could have directly started with Vishnu Sahasranama or Lalita Sahasranama or Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, right? So we'll start slow, build the foundation stronger, and then build the castle on top of it.
मैं अपने आप को इतना बड़े बड़े वर्ड्स मैं बोल भी नहीं पा रही हूँ वो सहस्त्रनामा तो मुझे नहीं पता मैं कब सीखूंगी बट आई वांट टू लर्न द फंडामेंटल Yes,
It will definitely help you, the
learned
fundamentals.
correctly.
To add to what Manjunath ji just said, I actually used to start with a longer text before. Like I said, I have conducted more than 18, 20 batches of Yoga Sutra. Not one batch has completed the entire Yoga Sutra. Only one batch has completed second chapter. Everybody stagnates, and after that they're like afraid to come back. And that is just Yoga Sutra. And how many are there? 195. And for that, if they are afraid, how can I start with Sahasranama? Yeah, how can we do 1,000 names of Vishnu? That's the reason I have come up with this foundation course, which talks about the fundamental rules. And most importantly, these small prayers will make a difference in your everyday life. These set of prayers, if you're not able to do, I do not expect you to do a Sahasranama chanting every day. You see, that is why we will start small but correctly. And only those who persevere, only those who can complete and bring about a change in their lives can proceed to the next level. It is not simply sitting and saying a few words out loudly, right? It needs to make a difference to you, most importantly. If you are giving this time, I value time more than money, right? If you're spending 1 hour of your day, I could have spent it in my sadhana, which will help me elevate myself and understand life better, right? If we are devoting this time and effort, then it has to be worth your while, right? It has to make a difference. It has to bring about some kind of a transformation in your life. And that is something that we must value, and I value of all of you as well. If you're registering for this course, I would like to give you more than just a few prayers, correct? Like, I would like to help you understand the necessity of that in our life right now, the crazy life that we all live in, or the times rather, and the kind of lifestyle we have all adapted. So we have to bring about the change, and therefore this time is that it is a devotion, right? That period is devoted for studies. It is not simply some class, it is for studies, right? Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Aarti ji, Gyanesh ji, Jai Gajanan, Raghav. Thanks for joining. So any questions, you may unmute your video and audio and ask the questions, please.
Also, in classes, I would definitely want all of you to keep your cameras on, because
Must.
I watch your mouth, I watch everybody's movement of lips and pronunciation. So it will be nice to get to know you all as well. So please turn your cameras on and come ready for tomorrow's class, whoever is signed up.
Yeah, that should be mandatory. Yeah.
Yes. It is
Gyanesh?
absolutely mandatory. If they're turned off, I do not teach them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ganesh. You have a question?
I mean, no, I don't have any question, Manju. I just recently joined. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
So are you considering yourself to start with the Chanting Fundamentals Intensive from tomorrow?
Uh, yes, Manju, but I need some more time because
Okay.
I recently started chanting.
Mhm.
So I need more to dig down in it, and then I will start.
Okay. So if you started recently, I would recommend, so there are two ways, right? One might feel that let me do some net practice and then come for the game. However,
Yes.
this Chanting Foundation Intensive, Fundamentals Intensive, is the net practice under the guidance of a competent teacher. So consider it, I would say. Take a
Yes.
decision. Okay.
Sure.
RTG is
Sure.
saying that I'm not musically inclined. Will chanting still work for me? Sindhoora?
Yes. So that is the difference between singing and chanting. I mentioned on the first webinar as well. Why? In a way, it is important to have a keen ear, but not necessarily musical notes. I mentioned even all the way to the Veda, there are only 3 notes that are used. That is how it is different from singing. In music, there are 7 notes that are used, right? Sarigama Padani. And in Veda, we only have Anudatta, Udatta, Swarita. However, we are not even going to the level of Veda now. So it is very simple. Yes, it is important to be able to catch the tone so that you have a rhythm to chant. For example, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. That is not singing, it is chanting, but it has a rhythm, right? Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. It has a rhythm. If you're able to catch this much, it works for you fantastically well. Because especially the daily prayers that we are doing, they're all in the same chandas. I've chosen it in such a way that it is in the same chandas. That is the meter. It is metric in nature. Even Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighnam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. See the nuances? Are you able to follow that already? Yeah. So that's it. It is going to stay metric in nature, but I will tell you one thing. If you are learning from the internet, you will not know in what tradition you're learning or if it is a mistake. Very common mistakes. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Very, very common mistakes. I have heard hundreds of people chanting that. And Guru Sakshat. What did I say? Guru Sakshat. There is a long vowel rule which is applied there. Okay, when there is a conjunct consonant and there is a preceding long vowel, there is an extension of a matra kala. Yeah, so all these can be experienced only in a live class. And Guruve Namaha, very, very commonly made mistake. Yeah. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Parabrahma, Parabrahma. And is it Brahma or Parabrahma? Is it two matra or one matra? Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. How many of you have heard that? I think everybody. Guruve Namaha, Gurave, Rave, right? It is in a certain vibhakti in Sanskrita. We cannot say Guruve, it is Gurave, correct? So small things like that you might not pay attention to when you're listening because see, to be honest, I have been teaching chanting for the last 8 years and studying in a lineage for the last 8 years, and before that I did the same thing. You'll not believe it, my teacher made me go through the entire process all over again in order to fix these small tiny things which we don't realize because we don't know. See, how can you have a keen ear and recognize something when you don't even know what you're trying to recognize? I did the very same thing. I was like, oh, YouTube, so many things are there. And I found the most interesting one for me. And I started listening. I learned the Hanuman Chalisa. I learned the Bhagavad Gita. I learned so many stotras, Yoga Sutra, all of it, only to have to redo everything from ground zero. I did not even level 1. He made me go through the alphabet again. You will not believe it, And then I realized, oh, okay, I understand now. So I quite literally did 5 years of studies all over again. Right? I had studied so much under different teachers because I also constantly traveled. I studied some in Kanyakumari and I was in Himalayas for a while. So I studied in Rishikesh and then Uttarkashi for some time, and only to know that it's absolutely different. Some of them, whole lot of mistakes, because not everybody pays attention to that nuances unless it is in a chanting tradition, like how most of us chant, right? Even my mother taught me a lot of wrong things. I mean, she taught me prayers, but she's not a chanting teacher. We all did Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha. Not even Mahapranas were correct in some places. I mean, not to blame her, but that is how we have all learned because we are people of the ear, you see. We hear something and that is it. And that stays. The difficult process was to unlearn for me, especially the Veda. You will not believe, I have completed Rudram and so many suktas and gone beyond for the last 7 years of studies, which I'm redoing now. Yeah, Sri Sukta is something that I completed 4 years ago. I'm redoing it now with my teacher. And the difference I can tell because I have done it, right? So I can tell the right and the wrong. And some of them, not all are change in a tradition. Some are just absolute mistakes, right? And that we do not know unless we actually study in a lineage. That is why it is imperative that we conform ourselves to some lineage so that we are clear of the rules, right? If you're studying in a Gokarna Parampara, in that Sampradaya, you must go ahead with that. We are not discussing who is right here. We are discussing if what we are chanting is right and if it conforms to some tradition, right? So because I use the word tradition, so many people started asking, oh, maybe I study in a different tradition. No. That is what my teacher also says. No matter what tradition you study in, the swaras will not change. right? Only the small nuances on how they say it changes, right? Similarly, these prayers will not change. It's like in my lineage they say Guruve Namaha. No, that is a mistake. It can only be Gurave, not Guruve. It is Gurave Namaha, and that is the correct one, right? So these are the small things I'm talking about. Only once you start experiencing and understand the difference, you can actually make out when somebody else chants. It's like, oh, okay, they're saying this, right? Anyway, yes, next question.
Thank you. Thank you, Sindhuraji. So RP, hope that's clear. And yeah, she has messaged, thanks a lot. Already looking forward to tomorrow. But as you were narrating it, I got quite excited, you know. In fact, so Ganesh, an input to you, rather than, you practicing on your own for a while and then unlearn that again to relearn, I would say if you're a clean slate right now, start afresh upfront so that you don't need to unlearn again and then relearn. So start with the right steps now itself. Okay. So
Sure,
if
Nidhi.
some of you are
Yeah.
still deciding to register, today is the last. Already, actually, the seats are full. So as Sindhuraji said,
Yeah.
so she's okay to take about 2 or 3 more folks. So you have the link, etc. I'll repost it today. You may register. Last few minutes, I have probably a couple of questions because some of the people messaged me and asked. So I thought I'll preempt those questions here. So one was, there are many. I mean, you mentioned about many YouTube channels already available. Can't we simply play those and chant? That's one. Of course, there's no real-time teacher to correct us. That's a disadvantage there. And it's free. YouTube links are free. And also, one of the members shared a link where uh, a similar kind of set of prayers being taught, probably in a group setting, minus the individual corrections, perhaps, at a much different price point as well. So, a question is this sounding a bit expensive as well? And this being the first in the journey. So, these two, any remarks on this, Indraji?
Okay. On learning from any online sources, I would flat out say no. I mean, of course, it's a person's choice to do because I did the same thing, like I am saying, right? But we will not really understand the differences, or we will not be able to distinguish the right from wrong. I mean, that's the thing with online, right? Anything you read, you are not really sure if it's the right material that you're going through. Lot of corrections and lot of mistakes. If you're taking chanting seriously, it should definitely come from somebody. See, I'm not a guru. Let me be very clear with that, right? I don't look like one. I'm not one. And I am a teacher, right? Who has been authorized by my teacher. So that is the tradition we follow. Unless I take permission and blessings from my teacher, I cannot teach. From my guru, I cannot teach. That is something. This is not a certification that we give. In fact, my guru has not only allowed and permitted me and blessed me to teach and share this knowledge with others, but also my own peers. In fact, even in the Veda class, he encourages me to help those who are not getting something right. So I take one-on-one and we kind of figure out and iron out the mistakes and stuff. So that means the guru approves of my approach to this, right? And this entire content, what you are going to study, is actually also approved by my teacher. Yeah, I have shown this content to him and he has approved it and encouraged me to go forward with this. So I very much follow the traditional way of studies, especially the pedagogy, how it is taught and in what order it is taught. It is still definitely done in the same way. And regarding the prizes, see, we need to understand a couple of things when it comes to studies, right? If I was to live in an ashrama, if everything was taken care of and I was doing Vidya Dana, then it is absolutely okay to teach for free. And even otherwise, there is a dakshina that is given to a teacher, right? Even in our traditional studies, we still do. I still give dakshina to my guru. And it is not really charged as a fee, but whatever the student's potential is. Now, what happens? For the first 2 years after I learned chanting, I used to teach for free. 1 year in Mysore, and 1 year before that, when I traveled to different ashramas, I taught for free. And after coming to Mysore, I currently live in Mysore. For an entire year, I've done many courses online and offline for free. What happens? One is the commitment of the students. See, we naturally value something based on its price, isn't it? And most importantly, it also becomes a filtering process. If you think this is not worth it, then this subject is not for you. And also to say that it is 4,999 for 16 classes. You divide it. How much is it per class you're paying? Some 300 rupees. Yeah. And every time we step out nowadays, we spend at least 250, 300 rupees on a breakfast or even a cup of coffee if you're catching up with a friend. Now, do you think this subject matter, which I have spent many years studying with a lot of effort and preparing this syllabus, because traditionally it is not taught in this syllabus manner, it is taught, and I have compiled all of that and taken approval by my teacher. I'm still following the flow and the subject matter remains the same, but in this order I am introducing it. So is there effort involved? Absolutely. So this is also for the effort that goes into making a course. Chanting is taught in many different ways and people are promoting. Also to add, I still teach for free for those who are in need. I do every Sunday, I do a class for children. There are 40 students that come. I do it for free at Ramakrishna Ashrama. I teach yoga and chanting for free. There is a new course that I am teaching for Vivekananda Kendra for those who cannot afford. There are a group of people who really are very dedicated, devoted to the subject, but they cannot afford these prices and they do not know where to go to study. For that, there is a new course that is being launched. I'm working with my mentor, the Vice President of Vivekananda Kendra, who's working on it right now to launch that course all over India in small pockets, because I cannot handle more people, right? And maybe corrections may not be available, but definitely introduction. And all those things are still being done for free. I don't want to be sitting here and justifying myself, but I will share it with you anyway, right? Because you need to know that this is also for a cause. Now, is this my source of income? No, it is not. I'll be very clear with that. Chanting, what I teach, is definitely with a purpose and to reach more people, but also to provide that quality, to maintain a certain standard and devote my time to each one of you who sign up. I want to be able to correct each one of you. That means my numbers are limited. And I want to be able to do that justice to the classes, for those who have signed up. For that, it definitely costs something, right? So it is a small price to pay for that, I believe. And when I went and asked my teacher if I can charge, my Sanskrit teacher and Vedanta teacher, he said that we live in a different world now. It is a world of transaction, right? You pay, you value and you pay, right? And you pay for what you value. And therefore, there is a certain price that is put, and it is a very competitive price. It is definitely not on the lower range. If you go on a low range, I do not want to comment on other teachers because I do not know. Try out, check out the classes. I will encourage everybody to go try out all the paramparas and whatever that is available out there. Definitely no wrong in doing that. I would have done it too, right? So, of course, it is definitely to the discretion of the student to choose their teacher, because sometimes the rapport is fantastic with a certain teacher. Sometimes the content is great, but you cannot really, get along with the teacher. So, or the style is not, the teaching style probably does not work for somebody. So there are many things available. It's the same with yoga, right? There are a lot of yoga teachers who are charging per hour 15,000. There are also people charging per hour 500 or less. Or for an entire month, they're charging 500. So there are all sorts of things available to us in the market. It is definitely up to the person who is signing up or who is curious to know and explore. So I think that is what I would say. Yes, on what my Vedanta teacher said, we live in a world of transaction. Before, Vidya was considered a dana. So was Aushadha dana, and Ahara dana, right? Vastra dana, so many things. So protection, even that was a dana, abhaya dana or something that is called. So it worked in a period where people lived in a dharma kshetra and there were generous contributions, right? If I am making contribution in terms of money and time, I give both. There are 4 ashramas that I study in, and I contribute to all 4 ashramas every year, irrespective of what happens that year, right? In order to do that, and I also have other businesses that we run. My husband and I, we run a couple of businesses, and we manage our life with that. So this, whatever I do, a large percentage of it goes towards contributions. I'm not saying that, I'm here some Mataji doing it. No, I don't have any such notions. I'm very much a grihastha. And some percentage for this course, I announced 75% of my income is going to the ashram. 25 is what I am keeping as an effort, as a payment for my effort for running a 2-month program, right? So we need to understand, we need to know, and definitely the person who signs up, the participant, the seeker, has a choice in choosing their teacher and the course. Definitely there is no compromise in the quality and the attention that is given to every student. Sometimes some people require a little more effort in corrections, and I actually take out the time to send voice messages to that person on WhatsApp. I get corrections through that, and I tell them to chant and send it back to me. I will tell you, because in class sometimes when you're correcting the same person for a long time, the rest of them get bored. So for all that effort there needs to be some compensation, right? So that is what it is. So I'm very clear about this. I hope you all understand it. And it is not being arrogant or something like that. It is something that we need to do for our community, which is very much needed. This effort and time is needed for the community. And I think that if the community can afford, they must contribute too. Right.
Very beautifully explained. I mean, this settles the whole question around price, etc. We value, hence we are here. Thank you. Anurag ji, you joined just now. So if you have any questions, you may unmute. I think Rajkishore ji, you have raised your digital hand. Do you have another question?
Yeah, just one thing, because I belong to from North India. So I know there are some alphabets which are, pronounced differently in South, if I'm correct. So I hope you will take care of that. And
absolutely. Oh, yes.
because I may not be able to, have that pronounced, because from childhood we are like, for example, Gya, Yagya. We generally say Yagya.
Correct.
But there I heard Yagna, some difference is there.
Absolutely. That's right.
Okay.
So don't worry about all that. I'm going to be after you until you get the pronunciation right.
Okay.
And you might
I'm
actually
little
start running
scared
away from
now.
me.
Actually, you took some simple examples, and I realized, oh, so many mistakes even we are doing. So I don't know, but yes, I hope for the best.
Yeah, no worries about it. Don't worry, because the next couple of days, in the initial days of study, will actually be Sanskrit itself. Because Sanskrita has formed the base of so many of our Indian languages. We are now confused. Which is Hindi, which is Sanskrita, which is Bengali, because all the languages have Sanskrita base, right? We use a lot of them, but our regional influence has also increased when we speak the Sanskrit shlokas. Like most common example I give is Hat Yog, right? In the north, a North Indian once asked me, why are you putting "a" in front of everything? Hatha yoga. Why are you saying that? Hatha yoga is what they say. I mean, some say hatha yoga. That is worse. You know what hatha means, right? So it's hatha, ha,
Yes.
tha. If the text was written in Hindi, I would definitely say it as Hatha yoga. But we know that the text is written in Samskrita, correct? So Atma
Yeah.
Rama has written it in Samskrita. Therefore, I must say Hatha Yoga, right? That is the rule of the language. It is not my rule or South India influence, because that they say that too. You're a South Indian, so you put R to everything. It's like, no, it's not me. It's the language, and I will introduce that language alphabet and everything. Okay. No need to worry about pronunciations. That is exactly what we are going to work on in the upcoming classes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Anurag ji, go ahead if you have a question.
Yeah. What is the price of the course?
So the actual course is priced at 9,999. But Manjunath ji was saying that we need to make it available for everybody. It is a very intensive course. It's called Chanting Fundamentals Intensive. So I'm giving a 5,000 rupees off for all of those who are signing up for this. So it is 4,999.
Also, I am in Canada in Central Standard Time Zone. So will I be able to match the timings?
What is the...
What time is it now?
Yeah, the
Canada?
difference.
is here 7:40 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
So classes
So-
are at 6 a.m. IST, Saturday, Sunday. So it'll be Friday
Okay.
evening around 6 p.m. ish for you, and Saturday 6
Okay.
p.m. ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
So
should be fine as long as you haven't had heavy late lunch or a heavy early snacks.
Okay. Yeah. So we have to be like empty stomach for the course.
Not necessarily empty stomach, then you'll be thinking about food throughout the class. So you can have something light. It's just that the basic necessity is to sit upright and have enough room to breathe. In this course, it is not such a mandate that you need to be empty stomach. No. What happens normally when we do Veda chanting and for an extended period of time, you're continuously chanting, if you're full stomach, you feel like as if you're about to throw up. It's not possible to chant. I once had that terrible experience when I went for a parayana somewhere. They served us lunch and then they started the chanting. So I was like, that was a bad idea. But it is okay to have something light. It is all right. Because you shouldn't be hungry, then you will be thinking of food. Um, you know, um, our Pujya Swamiji, in the tradition I study, I have never met him, so his direct disciple is whom I study under. So he always says that first take care of all the requirements of your body and then come for the class. Otherwise, the mind will be thinking of it, oh, my back is aching, it's not comfortable. So fix your seat, right? Fix your seat, have a glass of water ready so that you are not, feeling, oh, I need to drink water, but can I get up? So I will send a set of preparations for the chanting class as well. I normally send out an email for all of this. So those who sign up for the course will also be in a WhatsApp group. So communication is easy. All these information will be sent so you can be well prepared for your class, even about food or how much, how much is something you can decide, but you don't need to be on an empty stomach, that I can say.
Okay. And what would be the duration? Duration from 6:30 to
It's a 1 hour class. I
1
would
hour.
expect you to sit for 5 to 10 minutes extra in case, because normally there are some questions towards the end of the class. I do not encourage questions during that 1 hour. It is just practice. So let's say another 10 minutes. Yeah, 6 to 7,
Okay.
10.
And it will only be chanting or some lighter yoga also in
No,
that
no.
duration.
There is yoga, but not the physical yoga. There is yoga of the mind in preparing for dharana, right? Focusing the mind. So chanting is naturally dharana abhyasa, that is one pointedness, developing that one pointedness of the mind. Yes, we will be working on it. Pratyahara will
And for
naturally happen if dharana is happening. Yes,
and for
please.
how many months? What is the duration? Like, still start? When is it going to start?
It starts tomorrow. March 2nd is the start date. And the duration is 6 to 8 weeks. I say 6 to 8 weeks because the program, what I have developed, is for 6 weeks, but it depends on the group and how large the group is. The size of the group normally doesn't matter, but how quick they are in catching, in learning, right? And I would spend enough time in answering the questions as well. So maybe in between, we will have a session just for questions and eliminating all doubts before we take the step forward. So initial classes will be like that. I will teach for half an hour or 40 minutes and there will be questions. So if it is going to follow the same pattern for a more number of days than I had planned, then it will be 8 weeks. Anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks.
Thank you. And Anuragji, since you asked about the yoga, so you perhaps meant asana abhyasa. So once we get started with the chanting journey, I'll be introducing 2 more new habits. Remember, we are talking about the 9 micro habits in this whole journey. So we started with chanting as the first one. And in a few days from now, you will see some announcement from me that we'll be picking up a couple of more micro habits. So one of those will be either Surya Namaskara or Asana Abhyasa. We will introduce that gradually. So once we get started with chanting, we'll do that. Okay. And meanwhile,
Well, I am also
yeah.
I'm also like level 1 and level 2 certified yoga protocol instructor and yoga wellness instructor also.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you can do self-practice by your own as well. Thank you. I have shared the link for registration. This is a slightly new link, not the one which I shared earlier. So You can pick this. I'll post this link in our WhatsApp community as well. And to avail the special price, 50% discount from 9,999 to 4,999, use the coupon code SEEKERS so that it will show you 50% discount, and then you can register. And Sajjanji is saying, I'll read out for everyone. So we bow to all your efforts, Sindhoora. Since living at Rawat Bhata near Kota, only two subjects people know, engineering or medical. I was really missing our ancient knowledge and learning patterns as I left my government job as lecturer, computer science engineering college to work with children. Very nice purpose. I was in deep pain after meeting you very first time. You healed me. Wonderful to hear this.
No, I don't have such capacities or the abilities to do. But what I can say is that with complete Shraddha, I will devote my time in teaching or sharing what I have studied with my teachers. That I can promise you. Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you, Sindhoora. I think we are at the top of the hour, and we planned for 30 minutes. We went for 45. If there are no more questions, folks, I'll share the recording of this on the YouTube channel link as well.
One question, Manjuna. I am trying the coupon code SEEKERS, but when I apply coupon, it says coupon expired.
Okay, so give us a few minutes after this session. I'll confirm again and post the same message in the WhatsApp. You are there in the WhatsApp community, right?
Yes.
Corporate Seekers? Okay.
Yes, I'm there.
Wonderful. I'll share the link in a while. Give us a few minutes. So we'll conclude this. Sindhoora, if you may please conclude this with a prayer. Thank you.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Dhanyavadaha. Shubhadinamastu. We'll see you all tomorrow, 6 a.m. IST. We will share the link in the new WhatsApp group created by Sindhoora for the Chanting Fundamentals Intensive batch. Okay.
Manjunath, just one more thing.
Yeah.
Since we have already completed, filled up our slots of 25, maybe that's why the coupon is expired because
Okay. Oh, yeah.
25
We
are
set it
full.
as 25.
I can only keep open only 5, okay? Because more than 30, it'll be difficult to handle in the class. That's why we had put a cap on 25. But I do not want to say no to those who are waiting to enroll into this course. So let's keep it open for 5 more, please, so that they also know. That's why I'm sharing it with you.
Yeah. So we may do that right after this and then share the link. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Let's start the new journey of sadhana through chanting. Dhanyavadaha. Shubhadinamastu. Jai Shri Ram. Vande Mataram.
Thank you.